Welcome back to our video series on legal research. Today's video will give you an overview of the research process. This process pertains to whether you are doing book research or electronic research. In fact, many attorneys will use a combination of electronic and book research for a given research assignment. Let's discuss the basic steps of the research process. First, you must determine the scope of your assignment and the controlling jurisdiction. That's why we spent so much time on jurisdiction in the last video. Next, you need to generate your search terms. More on that in a minute. Third, you must decide where to begin your research. And if you are unfamiliar with the area of law you are researching, the best place to start is with secondary sources. And that's because secondary sources will help you get acquainted with the law and will give you citations to primary authority. After all, your overall goal is to find binding primary authority for your issue. Let's talk now about how to generate search terms. You will want to spend time on this step. This step requires that you understand the facts of your problem. To generate search terms, you will want to categorize your information. The four main categories to use are parties, places and things, potential claims and defenses, and relief sought. As your understanding of the facts, issues, and law expands, so should your search terms. When generating your terms, you need to be flexible. This means you also need to take into consideration related terms. Let me give you an example. If you have a problem that involves an injury in a hotel, you should not limit your search to hotel. Doing so will likely cause you to miss relevant law. So you should think of related terms such as inn and motel. Likewise, you need to vary the level of abstraction you are using for your terms. This means you may need to narrow or broaden your term. Perhaps an example may help you. If your problem involves a bird, you may want to narrow it to the specific type of bird at issue. So let's say a parrot. But if bird or parrot do not get you anywhere, you will need to broaden your term to possibly animal. Do not get the idea that legal research is about following steps in a linear progression. You do not start with step 1 and end at step 3. Rather, as you find information, you analyze that information, which then informs you as to what to do next. You may want to think of research as more of a circular process. No matter where you jump in, you will likely have to circle around a few times to complete your research. For example, you may think you have identified the issues and completed your research. However, once you have completed briefing and outlining the case law, you may find you do not have all that you need. So you may have to go back to the beginning and revisit secondary sources, for example. Finally, a few steps on how to work efficiently and effectively. First, keeping detailed notes on what you are doing and what you have found is imperative. Second, knowing when to stop is important, and here are a few tips that will help you determine when to stop your research. The first rule of thumb is that you find nothing new. That is, you find no new concepts and no recent cases exist. The other rule of thumb is that you start seeing the same law over and over again. Lastly, remember to seek out help if you need it. That concludes our video on the research process. Remember to take the quiz on Blackboard.